The climate in Israel is characterized by hot and sunny summers, with a long period of sunshine and mostly clear skies from May to September. The best time for you to come on a vacation depends on what you're wanting to do, and whether or not the weather will be appropriate for those activities. Already starting from mid-May, there are days when the temperature feels unseasonably hot, as if the spring season lasts only a month and summer about 7. After November, there is a significant drop in the temperature, to cooler rainy months. The majority of the rain that will fall during the rainy season occurs between the months of November and March, though there may continue to be some rainfall into April as well. Along the west coast, the climate is Mediterranean, with very mild, rainy winters, and hot sunny summers. The air is humid, but tempered by breezes. In the interior regions, the climate is drier and more continental, due to its distance from the sea, and its higher altitudes above sea level. Jerusalem is elevated about 2,300 feet above sea level, while Bethlehem in the West Bank is almost 2,600 feet above sea level. These areas have nice breezes due to their relatively high elevations. Further north, sitting between 1,000 to 1,600 feet above sea level, is the city of Nazareth. Here too the air is mountain fresh, but less breezy. Winters in most of the inland regions are relatively mild and do not reach freezing temperature. During the summer, the air is dry, and the amount of heat is generally tolerable, but the sun can be unrelenting. Further to the east, in the Jordan Valley, the altitudes drop below sea level. From the Sea of Galilee, down to the Dead Sea, winters feel very mild, but summers are very hot. Further south, heading past the Dead Sea, precipitation is scarcer and the landscape is semi-desert. The Negev has mild winters and very hot summers. In January and February, cold air masses sometimes flow down from Europe in the north, which generates snowfall in areas with altitudes of 2,000 or more feet above sea level. From the southwest, hot summer air masses from Egypt sometimes flow extremely hot, even scorching heat northeastwards toward Israel in the summer. It is highly recommended that you come in May or November, when you will avoid the crowding of the holy days and the months with searing heat. These specific times could result in a less expensive vacation overall, during a time with the most decent weather. April and October would be the next best options if you don't mind the season's fervor. In March, April and early May, the temperatures hover in the low 20s Celsius. In October and November, the temperatures are also moderate around the high 20s Celsius, in the middle to upper regions of the country. Although the autumn and spring months have the best climate, there are other factors you need to consider. For instance, September and October are the busiest months in the year for those holding by the Jewish calendar, with Rosh Hashanah and Yom Kippur contributing to the country's massive influx of holiday observers. April is another busy time because of Passover, which draws many distant Jews to come over. The Gregorian calendar dates of these significant holidays vary from year to year. Yet, in consideration of the fact that prices are higher during those times, it is probably a wise move to postpone traveling to Israel until after those events, if you want a more relaxed and less expensive vacation. Regarding what clothing you should bring to wear, it must be said that modesty is the best policy. After all, this is the land where the eyes of God are constantly looking. However, with a society that is a mix of cultures, lifestyles are varied. During the summer between June and September, you won't need more than a minimal amount of clothing. Bring short-sleeved shirts, shorts, sandals, beach shoes and a swimsuit. These will generally be all you need besides a supply of fresh undergarments. You should pack yourself a sweater also if you plan on being in a desert or semi-desert region at night. It gets a bit chilly out in those expanses with nightfall. If you are visiting Israel in the winter between November and February, you will need warm clothing, a light waterproof coat or jacket, and good all-weather shoes. But bring a couple of hefty t-shirts along too, because there will likely be some beautiful days intermittently, even though it be the winter season. In Jerusalem and inland hills during the winter, bring warm clothes, a jacket, a hat, raincoat and or umbrella, a scarf for your neck against the wind, and hiking shoes. During the winter in the Jordan Valley, Eilat, and along the Mediterranean coast, you should be fine if you have spring or autumn weather clothes to wear. Bring long-sleeve shirts, a light jacket, sweatshirt or a sweater, and maybe a pocket umbrella for the areas north of the Dead Sea. Whatever the time of year, you should use sunscreen, wear a hat and sunglasses, as the sun manages to appear all year round. If you intend to hike trails, obviously you will need good shoes and access to plenty of drinking water. Depending on your intent, you might also need a sleeping bag, tent, and camping equipment. If you are planning to sleep under the stars, this type of equipment can be purchased easily if you'd rather not pack it. While we are on the topic of coming to vacation in Israel, remove any concern about incidents of terrorism. Let's keep one thing in mind with regard to Israel's safety. Tourists who come to Israel for their first time here are often amazed at how safe they feel in Israel compared to their own home country. Be aware that the threat of terrorism isn't limited only to Israel. Evil can rear its ugly head anywhere in the world at any moment, and of course you should clearly be aware of this everywhere you go. For reasons unknown, to me anyway, international news media tends to portray a dramatic, war-torn image of Israel. This influences the thoughts of those people who allow television to program their minds. However, the reality, although far from perfect, is quite different in the streets. In Israel you're very unlikely to experience something life-threatening other than aggressive driving. If you stay on well-worn tourist routes and follow local advice on where to go, or where not to, you'll be good to go. Just activate common sense and awareness. Nonetheless, the hordes of tourists coming to visit the Holy Land of Israel each year show that they don't feel or believe that they are endangering themselves, and thankfully have the intelligence and clear minds to experience for themselves the reality of life in Israel. There really is no need to fear coming to Israel because of safety or security concerns. Above all, and from this moment on, you should only be thinking about the fact that you most definitely will have an amazing vacation in the Holy Land. Make your reservations, pack your bags, and come.